Hey, Tim.
Hey, Wendy.
Let's rock and roll. How are you
We
doing
always start off
today?
dancing. I love it.
What's going on, Tim Moss? It's always so good to see you because I feel like I only see you virtually a lot these days.
I know that's true. But first, welcome everybody to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Tim Moss.
And I'm Wendy Stuart, and we are so happy to welcome you here. And you're all virtual too. And that's just the way of the world. And there's nothing I can do about it. There you go.
Absolutely. But soon I will see you in person and give you a hug. How about that?
Okay, when is that? I'm going to mark it on my calendar.
I don't know.
I don't know. But as everyone knows, we're in the Halloween month. That is an intensely social month. And we had the best zombie party at Foster's in Chelsea with the Imperial Court of New York. I really had a blast. I did that number, Touch and Touch from
Rocky Horror.
Thank you so much for finishing the sentence for me, Tim. And I performed it with Evan Lawrence. We had a great time. He's a member of the court. But when I first did it, Tim, I remember what fun we had. We did it in Stonewall. I did it with you in Stonewall.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was really, really great. That's such a great fun Halloween number.
It is. Well, I haven't seen you for a couple of weeks on here. One of the things I've been doing is a lot of medical. Everything is great, but just like checkups and all of that, they all hit at one time. So I've been to the dentist, to the foot doctor, to my regular doctor. I got rave reviews everywhere.
I love rave reviews. I love it.
Yeah, I left the dentist and I had to run downtown because I did a shoot for the mayor's office, like the PSA or something. Like, you remember the I Love New York type of thing?
I love New York. I love that campaign.
Something along that line. And I went and saw Mark Eugene Garcia's show.
Yes. I don't have time. I missed it.
I can't think of let me see if I can find it here.
Theater 94 or
it was under St. Mark's is what it was.
St. Mark's, right?
But it was absolutely hysterical.
He's brilliant, but he is such a brilliant writer.
And actor. He's just
an actor. And for those people that don't know, he runs the whole show over at the Drama Bookstore. He books all the guests over there as well. You can go in and see Mark, as I did one day. I'm like, I know you. But yeah, he is a major, major talent.
Yes, absolutely. I had sent my PC out to get it kind of upgraded, and it took a lot longer than we anticipated, but I finally got that back, and I'm trying to familiarize myself with it and all of the new things and the new buttons to push and all of that, which is always a learning curve.
It is a learning curve. So I've had a really incredible work week. Monday and Tuesday, I shot a campaign, the print job and commercials for a new startup that's going to have these incredible gift boxes, really high end, that kids that aren't going to make it home for the holidays can order for their parents.
Oh, okay.
And I played the mom in it, and I had a dog also, a really cute dog. And the scenario, my kid's not coming home for the holidays, but they sent this wonderful, it had luxury items in it and everything.
Wow.
Not saying the name of it yet, but it'll be an ongoing thing, but was a lot of fun. And then Friday, I'm shooting a film called Over the Hill. I play the wife in that. So it's interesting. I realize I have a range, Tim. I go from like a zombie party, right? And
exactly.
Picture show to being suburban. I never thought of myself as a suburban category. And Monday night, my God, I want to tell you this, at the Explorers Club, we had what we call a flag return. People were on an expedition in Laos in the Mekong to find a copper Buddha, and it's down there. They're going to go down there. But the artifacts they found were really amazing, including, this is something a lot of people don't know about, unexploded devices, the unexploded bombs that have just been down there forever. And there's actual organizations that are involved in, there's an astronomical number of unexploded bombs still from the the war there. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Yeah, really amazing. So the bronze Buddha is still under there. They did find a tablet from 500 years ago, which is great.
Wow.
And of course, all of this is going to be in the museum in Laos. But yeah, you know, I love talking about antiquities.
I do too.
Because I'm over the hill. No, I'm just.
Well, last weekend, I've hosted Bronx Pride for the past several years, and you and I did last year, I think, or the year before.
I did the summer show with you. I didn't do the winter one that you guys were just on there at. I saw you there.
Yeah, well, Apollonia has like a thank you party. Yes. And I wasn't going to make it, but at the last minute, I was like, let me just jet over to the Bronx. And I went over and we had a ball. Got to see a lot of friends that I had not seen in a long time. It was absolutely wonderful. Ran home, got a little bit of sleep, got back up and went back to the Bronx because this last Sunday was the first day of Project Transcend, which Cheryl Paley, it's for the trans and gender nonconforming community. And it's an art project. It's for over the next 3 months. And we finally kicked it off. It finally started this last Sunday. It was amazing. I cannot wait to see what unfolds over the next 3 months on that project.
So just to share with you, you introduced me to Gail because I booked her on my other show, TriVersity Talk. And I just want to share with people, Gail will be coming on the show. I asked her when would be good for her. Cheryl, when would be good for her? And she said January. So she's body mapping people, which is what a fascinating technique, right?
Yes, it really is. That's where each of the artists, there's 10 artists, and what they do is they lay down on a large sheet of paper, and then we outline their body. And then through the course of the next 3 months, they will go through like psychological introspection about their life and going back to the past, and whatever kind of comes up, they will paint, or they'll however they choose to decorate this outline of themselves, so that by the end of the 3 months, it will be like their life story within their framework,
within their body, and it's
within the silhouette of their body.
Carry our life story within our body, right?
Which is really a fascinating project. So I'm very excited about that.
Of course. Yeah, that's great. And I look forward to having her on this show as well. Well, today's guest, I like to say all roads lead to Pangea, because they do in so many ways. An amazing artist named Sandra Bloodworth, who did set up a lot of the art that you have seen in the subway. She's responsible for all those programs. And she gave her very first show here at Pangea. And my friend Wendell Walker was the curator. And the people I met that night were just so wonderful. There's so many people involved with things in New York, right? Because if we don't take care of our city, we're not going to have our city.
Absolutely.
And there was a gentleman that really stood out to me because he started talking about preservation. And that's something we all think about, right? They pave paradise and put up a parking lot. What happens to the buildings? Where do they go? The pocket parks, where do they go? What can we as people do? And then further in our conversation, we started to talk about, we're talking about history in New York. We're talking about Tin Pan Alley, right, Tim? You're a singer. All of us have heard about Tin Pan Alley. I remember my mother talking about Tin Pan Alley growing up. So we're really looking forward to an incredible New Yorkish conversation today. Please welcome preservationist George Calderaro.
Yay!
Get the title right?
Yeah.
I got it all.
So good.
So good. We're on a roll.
Squeeze on in there.
Okay, you got to squeeze on in. And then there we are. We look good, Tim. We're framed good. And
yes. How are you, George?
Good, Tim. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk.
Well, welcome to the show. I want to continue. We had such an interesting conversation there that night. But first, I just want to thank you for being so involved. It's people like you that keep New York, all the really good stuff about it.
Well, I love it. I'm a passionate New Yorker.
Right. Well, so so are we.
Well,
Also,
to start off, are you originally from New York?
No, actually, yes. I was born in Brooklyn, but my family quickly moved to Connecticut, and I was raised in Connecticut, and then found my way back here after college.
Yeah, because I didn't get Brooklyn from you at all that night. My husband's from Bensonhurst, and I'm from the Bronx, so we borough people know other borough. We could smell the borough a mile away. But had you always been interested in the integrity of historical landmarks?
No, actually, I discovered after being an English major and interested in theater and then interested in the arts. I worked in museums for many years. That the through line really is history.
Yeah.
If I'm reading something, if I'm looking at a painting, if I'm hearing a piece of music, when was this written, who wrote it, who did they write it for, what was going on. And then in the 90s I worked at the Landmarks Preservation Commission, and that started me on my 30 plus year career as a civic preservationist, really preserve, because New York is our built history all around, and it's cheek by jowl. Every building pretty much is different from the one next to it, particularly in the East Village, but any number.
But particularly
and it also depends on the era.
Yes.
Like there's so much history in this city, and you can kind of tell when buildings were built just by the look and the shape and the design and
and often it's when the subway got there. So Harlem, for example, was Upper Manhattan was transformed when the subway, and you could say that about so many different neighborhoods in all of the boroughs. When the trains started going there, the people started going there, and then the buildings went up.
But this is so funny because I never thought about that till you just said it right now. It never was like a line of demarcation for me. It's so funny. So many of us look at these buildings and we'll admire their beauty and we'll want to know the date, but we never think about what was the backstory. And that's 30 years with Landmarks Preservation.
Oh no, I was at the Landmarks Commission for a short period of time. I went into the Dinkins administration, and
that was quite in New York then.
And then I left in the Giuliani administration, and even if it was only a short period of time, I did not want to work for Giuliani. I saw the writing on the wall even 30 years ago. And he even, and people don't remember this. He was just so ignorant and arrogant.
He was arrogant.
He offered severance to all 250,000 city employees, whether you're a commissioner or a custodian. So people like me who didn't want to work for Rudy Giuliani and thought we could get a different job left.
And you got severance.
Some, it wasn't much, but it was. But then at that point, people said, "Oh, you don't work for the commission anymore. You can be on the board of the Historic Districts Council." Or so I've been on.
I see. Was there kind of a conflict of interest or something?
Yeah, basically, if you're working for a city agency, it's disencouraged to work on civic boards and nonprofit boards, especially ones that work directly with the agency. So for example, the Historic Districts Council, on whose board I'm still serving, I'm the secretary now, is the citywide advocate for New York's historic neighborhoods. So they were and are and will be very involved with the commission and a number of the issues we'll be talking about today.
Now, because New York is one of the more historic cities in our country, in our young nation, actually.
Well, we're coming up on our 400th anniversary.
Wow.
Yes, but like you said, the certain neighborhoods when the subway was built and now they have access to, but prior to that, for a couple hundred years, really, or I would say, I'm guessing, but I would say a couple hundred years was horse and buggy.
Yeah.
Like the downtown area, the Bronx was farmland.
Bronx was total farmland. Yeah, where I grew up, Kingsbridge was total farmland. It's interesting though that you brought that up, because even like Upper Manhattan now, you've still got the Morris Jamal Mansion, you've got Dyckman House, those Hamilton Grange, those were right, Tim. All the I have a sweet spot for those really old
they were
buildings.
Country houses.
Yeah.
Well, even Murray Hill, Mrs. Murray's farm on 38th Street was a country house. And,
wow. Wow, a country house.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
And the Bronx was named after Mr. and Mrs. Bronx. That's
Wow.
So these were all, and even my day job, I work at Columbia University, and that was all farmland. And
that was
farmland and an insane asylum where the Columbia gets up as recently as 1900 when the Columbia campus was laid out by McKim, Mead, and White. But that was all rural.
Which building was the insane asylum?
Oh, it's still there. It's called the Maison Française now, or Buell Hall. And so
at Columbia University.
At Columbia.
Wow.
It's a brick building. It's the only remaining building of the original asylum. But that's when Morningside Heights, it was rural, and it was all hospitals, institutions, sort of like not like exactly like Roosevelt Island.
I was going to say it was similar.
Institutions, asylums, and then the subway came up, and they wanted to build a city on a hill. So Riverside Church, Union Theological, all of these institutions came up, and they're still there.
And what year was that? Would you say
around
approximately the time, early 1900s?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was only about 125 years ago. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about you? Because I'm looking at all the places you've worked with in the societies, Victorian Society, Art Deco Society. What makes you so committed and caring about this? Because they're ripping down buildings left and right in the city, and a lot of people could care less.
And putting up those glass monstrosities.
Monstrosities, Tim. I know.
Well, first of all, it's my home. I'm passionate about them. As we said, I'm passionate about history and our built heritage and the stories that our buildings embody, and just the quality of life. Even worse though than the glass buildings. I do like, I like modern architecture too, but what gets me is when a building, a vast, viable, usually often historic building gets demolished and becomes a vacant lot for 5 years, 10 years, decades. And
decades.
I'm spearheading with the Historic Districts Council and some colleagues a campaign to see how we can disincentivize demolition of these vast buildings. So for the best recent example is the Hotel Pennsylvania.
It's unbelievable. It's horrible.
It's an entire block.
Yeah, terrible.
Across from the busiest transit hub in North America.
Right in the center of Midtown Manhattan.
And we supposedly have an affordable housing crisis and immigrant crisis. And Steve Roth from Vornado decides unilaterally to demolish 2,000 rooms, each with a bathroom that could be used for anything.
Right.
I mean, now we're only going on year 3, but there are other buildings, and you could look at hdc.org. There's a position paper that I helped write talking about the Hotel Penn, but also the Bancroft building on 28th Street, which was demolished about 15 years ago. It's been a block-long vacant lot.
Empty.
The Demarest building, likewise, 33rd and 5th. Vacant lot after I could go on and on.
How do they get away with doing this?
It's as of right. They can do this. And I think, and I'm looking for, if there are any tax lawyers out there who are interested in working with me or HDC, I believe, and that you're just paying less taxes on a vast vacant lot than you are on the Hotel Pennsylvania.
So they want to get rid of it.
So we need to look at the tax code is the only way to talk to these so-called developers.
But I don't understand. I'm going to ask you something because you know more about this than I do. They give these tax incentives like what do they call J51 abatements? Correct me if I'm wrong. They give those abatements on a lot of the buildings that they converted to condos and co-ops, especially in Brooklyn. Why are they not doing that on these huge buildings? Like Hotel Pennsylvania was amazing. I remember going there.
Well, a lot of the tax, like 421A and these other tax abatements, are for new construction that have quote unquote affordable housing. But as we all know, affordable means what? 3,000 a month, 4,000
I was going to say 3 or 4,000 a month.
There are a few other legislations that do supposedly contain real affordable housing, like the de Blasio administration had mandatory inclusionary housing and other things that are supposed to result in
more
in affordable housing.
But did it?
Well, that's just this morning I went to a talk at the Furman Center at NYU debating the 3 ballot proposals, which I and hopefully others are opposing as well, because there's ballot measures on in the November
when we vote,
election. Turn your ballot over, and there's ballot issue 2, 3, and 4, and they all say, do blah, 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 to increase affordability. But when you look at each of these, what they're really doing is removing regulation, removing city council. It is a scam. And so I and the Friends of the Upper East Side, Village Preservation, Historic Districts Council, we're all mounting campaigns, but in the course against these 3 ballot measures. So I urge you to vote no.
Well, if George didn't tell me that, though, I would have been voting yes.
Yeah, because I would have been like, oh, affordable housing. Sure.
Yeah, right, Tim, you would have, right.
And
yeah, we definitely want to.
That's how they're going to pass. But in the course of this conversation today,
Borough
President Mark Levine was saying that only 2% of new construction
will be earmarked
what came out through mandatory MIH, mandatory inclusionary housing. To answer your question, and all of these gimmicks, all of these rezonings. So, for example, Soho had all of these promises of affordable housing, and what gets built? But luxury housing, and even more recently, currently, Atlantic Yards, which said, "Oh, if you let us build Barclays, if you let us develop the area, we'll have affordable housing." Well, the developers just within the last 2 weeks said, "You know what? No, we're not doing that." And they're with no repercussions. People are trying.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it something that just the developers say to get the contract, and then they
they walk away once they get the market rate housing built.
Wow.
So do you think, we've got a mayor campaign coming up. Do you think that the new mayor could have an influence on maybe putting out new laws?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Whatever their, whatever proposals they're going to.
But I'm not aware that even anyone who's campaigning has talked about the things that you are sharing with us today are they're terrible.
There aren't a lot of specific proposals I've heard from the mayoral candidates. They all talk about affordable housing. Of course, Zoran, promises, rent freezes. Well, he can't do that, and also a number of other things that he can't do. And I'm not just isolating him.
Right. Politicians make promises.
The mayor is limited in what they can do without the state, but they all say affordable housing, and it's just a red herring. And all of these battles are, we're going to rezone all of Midtown. And so we were talking about rezoning, and you were asking, what it really means. So to use an example, Midtown South has 4 quadrants of Midtown South, and they are rezoning, which means basically changing from manufacturing zoning to residential zoning, which is fine. We're all for affordable housing.
Sure.
We're all for housing. But if you say to so let's say in the Garment District, you've got a gorgeous,
I'm there all the time,
30-story, these Art Deco, wonderful buildings, and they're massive. They're overbuilt for current zoning. But if you say, hey, you could actually build a 200-story building to some greedy, short-sighted developer, they'll knock the building down and then think later. And that's what's happening, and it's also happening in 57th Street, which is supposedly priceless, miracle mile, 57th Street between 5th and 6th. If you walk down there, 1/3 of the block is gone.
Right.
I don't know if you've been down there recently.
I haven't.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Everything from Bergdorf's to Carnegie Hall on 7th Avenue. There's vast vacant lots that are sitting there because it's cheaper to have a vacant lot than to have a building. And the developer of that, Soloviev, also has the vast vacant lot next to the UN where Con Ed was. Where
that's huge. That looks like a bomb pit.
He might have to do something with that, because just last week, as you probably know, all of the Manhattan casinos were rejected. So that was going to be a site of his
For casino.
for Resort World or whatever it was going to be.
My God, that's
so,
all we need is a casino there. It's going to be so congested.
So hopefully now that he can't do that, he'll build something else, and hopefully with affordable housing.
Right, because just walking around the city, which I do, Wendy and I do regularly, it seemed like over the summer or the past couple summers, there was construction like everywhere around this city and building these huge buildings, a lot of them residential, that are just asking these ridiculous amounts. Who is buying these apartments or who is renting these apartments?
Or who's not here and owns them, because they're not.
Right, exactly.
That's a big problem.
Yeah.
So it's just investments, I'm guessing.
Right. Or that they entice people, like Long Island City is filled with all of those towers. And, they probably, because of tax abatements, they've got reduced rent for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years. But then they're going to come due, and these kids who had a good deal in 2025 are going to be having to look elsewhere in 2026.
So they were trying to get this element into
that's what
area and neighborhood to build it up, then kick them out to get.
You can even see in listings, they say, tax abatement until 2029 or whatever it is. So that's one element, Tim.
Tim, it's very advantageous in terms of, if you look at what even though you'll pay a hefty price, say, to live in Brooklyn, there a lot of those buildings there have this J51 abatement. I know because I looked, and where your maintenance in Manhattan on a 1-bedroom would be like $1,800 a month or $1,500 a month. Over there, it's like $400 or $500 a month.
Oh, wow.
Right, because of this. So this was really attractive to me when I was looking. But then when you start asking that question, what's going to happen when the abatement's up? I'm going to ask you, because there's tons of buildings. Are all of a sudden people's maintenances are going to quadruple?
Yeah, they're going to go.
Wow. Because I'm one. I appreciate New York and the old New York, and
me too.
I much prefer like an old building with style to it, and you walk into and the smell or the I have an appreciation for preservation, of our history. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. How do we balance that? How can we? Because so many are looking for a new flashy building to live in.
You're asking, how do we get that appreciation?
Yeah, there we go. I guess
what is in your mind?
Well, I think that people do value historic districts. You look at the property values, and the historic districts are the most valuable. You're talking about the West Village or Soho or Tribeca. People do value it, but then they complain about preservation. It's like, well, this is why you love the city. This is why you're here. And then often the big beneficiaries of historic district designations are outside the boundaries. So around Soho, and so you're getting to appreciate and take advantage of the beautiful historic district, but you're living outside of it, and those prices go up as well. But if you think about our historic districts, for example, much of the Upper West Side, much of the Upper East Side are protected, and they're not just protecting buildings, they're protecting affordable units. These in Yorkville, the rents are cheaper on the Upper East Side than they are in Brooklyn.
That is,
and it used to be, and the Upper East Side used to be the exclusive neighborhood,
right?
And it still is. If you think about Fifth Avenue or Madison Avenue,
but not First Avenue, second,
but they are protecting a lot of rent stabilized units.
But what they do, and you know this better than I, they warehouse them.
Yes.
We've got entire blocks in my neighborhood that were warehoused, and now 81st and 82nd on 3rd Avenue, they're building these. You're walking under scaffolding. They're building giant giant housing there, and they've done it all along. Third Avenue doesn't even look the same. Like if I have a couple of drinks and I get out of a taxi at 1 o'clock in the morning, this is it just doesn't look the same. And they're doing the same on Second Avenue. So for what you're saying about things being protected, I think my personal opinion, every loophole in the book is being used right now. I really think they're doing whatever the heck they want.
Right. And then you mentioned the sidewalk sheds and scaffolding.
The sheds,
that's another, I think,
a whole
disgrace
other,
with local law 11 being abused by the misused by the buildings department or whoever, the West New York Restoration or any Alpine or any of the,
I know I know all those names
of the
too.
scaffold companies, because something is wrong with the way this process is being
they drag it out.
And so you talk to elected officials and they say, oh, we're trying to get it down. It's like, don't put it up. See what the problem is when why is it being, is it some drone flies over the AT&T building and suddenly you've got the entire block of Madison between 56 and 57 surrounded, or the Ladies Mile Historic District, those massive department stores, no work is going on, yet they're surrounded by scaffolding. So something is wrong with the way the buildings department, whether it's corrupt or not.
But then, I'm going to say it, like we're talking about preservation. I don't know how we can, you're working so hard. I look at all these different organizations you're with, and I meet other people that are like you, but I watch the corruption. Local Law 11 is completely corrupt. I don't understand why nobody's gone after it. Nobody. We have powerful lawyers here. Nobody's gone after it. We had little organizations trying to fight it. I don't think they're going to get anywhere. You have that. You have the fact that they're taking the wrecking ball to these buildings. I really feel that everyone is doing whatever the heck they want. No one's watching the store. And our city is just, we're just going to, we won't be around when it doesn't look the way we want it to.
Government is complicit.
Government is complicit.
Well, the City Planning Commission is just pushing these rezonings, and again, throwing out the red herring of affordable housing that never gets built. And in the meantime, raising, to the roof and above, height limits and with zoning.
I was just going to say, that like I live in Upper Manhattan in Washington Heights, and the zoning had been
they rezoned it.
It was rezoned recently, was it not? Because it used to be that you could only 6-story buildings, and now they're building these huge, tall buildings and along the river. And
And luckily, there are organizations like the ones that I belong to, but then also in Washington Heights, in Inwood, I know they're very active and trying to at least get some preservation or some historic districts there before the rezoning or the upzoning or the wrecking ball.
The wrecking ball happens.
And that happened with the Garment District. And sometimes the Landmarks Commission, I don't know, what the Landmarks chair just resigned, so I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't blame them.
With the new one. But they do, come in, and they did just designate at least 5, maybe 10 Garment District buildings, the Art Deco buildings, and designating them as landmarks, which was good.
So that's great.
Yeah, that's good. And likewise, like with the Waldorf, they went in at
I remember that whole thing.
And they designated 10 of the spaces as interior landmarks, because nothing necessarily saying that Chinese bank was going to do the wrong thing, but with that. And basically with any other landmark designation, you've got the best preservationists in the world there at your disposal, free of charge.
Really?
They do. A lot of people say, they'll gripe and say it's more expensive, but this is why you want to live on the Upper West Side. This is why you want to live in Murray Hill, because of the integrity. That otherwise everything would look like Sheepshead Bay, with I want a shiny banister. No, I want a shinier banister. I want to be able to do whatever I want, and even
I want to be able to do whatever I want.
Exactly.
Well, and the problem is in our capitalist society, money talks.
Exactly.
And if they come in with bagfuls of money, they're going to pay off who they need to get what they want.
Or if they don't have any regulation, they don't have to pay anybody off.
Right, exactly.
But you think about it also commercial corridors. So did you know that most of Madison Avenue on the Upper East Side is an historic district? So all of those changes to those, the Armani and Hermes and all of these stores, all with more money than God, that can do whatever they want. But they have to conform to minimal.
They're low. Everything is low up
but
there
they're
and
regulated,
beautiful.
like even the the balustrades, the doors, the storefronts, and the same with the meatpacking district. I and a few other people were at Florent and another.
I loved Florent. I loved Florent. Tim, did you ever go to Florent?
No,
so great.
So we got we started and were successful in creating the meatpacking historic district, the Gansevoort Market.
Gansevoort Market,
and now, and likewise, now you've got Hermes and Gucci and all of these places, and they're wonderful and they're great, but they have to respect the building. They can't treat every brick as a branding opportunity.
And you've got you do have that there. And the cobblestone streets you do have. My gripe about it is there's still no reliable transportation over there. It's God's country. I went to Little Island that they built to see a show. You're walking. The bus will only take you so far. There's no taxis. You call an Uber. It's congestion time. They're not available.
I told you, get a bike, Wendy.
We had to talk about, I would not bike in this city. It's too dicey with crazy drivers. But how long have you been biking around New York for?
Forever.
So so you're that. You're that. So you're.
I can hear a door unlock from.
That's hilarious. You're like my Chihuahua. He can too. You're like, oh, someone's getting out of a cab.
Two quick things. One is we don't have a video for today, right?
No.
Okay, I saw a panel open up below. I just wanted to make sure. The other thing is, in your work of preservation over the past several decades, actually, do you have like a couple of instances where, like, maybe shocking things that happened that or heartbreaking, maybe something heartbreaking, or something that was achieved?
Well, I think I can encapsulate it with my big project, which is the Tin Pan Alley American.
Let me hold this up, because that leads us right into this.
I moved to East 28th Street in 2014, and I was asked to join the board of the 29th Street Neighborhood Association, which was working to expand the boundaries of the Madison Square North Historic District from 27th Street up a little bit further to 34th Street and to the west. And I said, oh, this is interesting. These buildings, these old hotels, these Beaux-Arts hotels are magnificent. I could get behind that. But on the map, I said, but what is this Tin Pan Alley? I've heard about Tin Pan Alley all my life.
Same. My mother
and I knew it was about music. But when I found out that it was the birthplace of American popular music, where sheet music publishers, songwriters like Irving Berlin, George Gershwin, performers, were all congregating there in the late 19th and early 20th century, including notably Eastern European Jewish immigrants, but also African American sheet music publishers, performers.
Everyone was there on 28th Street.
And I said, we can get this landmarked. And no one said to my face that they had been trying for decades to do this.
They were like,
because it was such a
like, have at it.
But because of the timing and the cultural landmarks were very popular in the around the period 2015, that on December 10th, 2019, we successfully had the Landmarks Commission designate 5 New York City cultural landmarks as Tin Pan Alley landmarks, and there's there'll be landmarks forever. So and
you spearheaded that. Thank you for
we formed a 5 and have a board.
Right.
And
two things. I'm seeing some of the comments over here asking for Jordan. They're waiting for Jordan. There is no Jordan on today. I'm not sure who they're talking about. A jazz singer, I think, maybe.
Jordan would be here. I have no idea who Jordan is.
Jordan is not on the show today.
But someone named Real Vicky Patterson said, "Amen, Wendy. I am scared of biking." There you go.
Yes.
we totally agree. kudos to you. 5 buildings is
and we don't own any of the buildings. We can't afford to
no,
own
right. Well, you're a not-for-profit,
and
anyway.
I don't want to get in the building management business. And as I said, I had worked in museums for 10 years. I know what's involved. But instead, we do programming all around the city. We helped inaugurate the new Bronx Music Hall. We've done programming in Staten
There you
Island,
go, Tim. Yeah.
Park Avenue Armory, Museum of the City of New York. This weekend, we're hosting tours as part of Open House New York, which is taking place all weekend. We're doing caroling in Madison Square
So
Park.
hold up a minute. You know all this stuff. Open House New York, never heard of it. Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. That started in I think it started in London. It's at least 10 years old, and 300 plus sites around New York opened themselves up, especially or with special program offerings on Friday the 17th, Saturday the 18th, and Sunday the 19th. As I said, we're doing tours on Sunday the 19th. Supposedly they're sold out, but if you show up at 25 East 28th Street, I'll let you in. At 11,
little secret.
At 11 and 2. But then other places, I'm doing a tour of a club in Queens. The different private clubs opened themselves up. It's ohny.org, and they have a lot of ticketed events.
Hang on, Tim, did you know about this?
No,
ohny.org.
And there are a lot of ticketed events that have sold out, but a lot are just open site. You could just go and get a special visit for someplace. Everything from the sewer system in Queens to behind the scenes at museums on Fifth Avenue or the New York Historical Society. It's a great project and a great community of people.
And this is ohny.org.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure they have a Facebook group. If I follow it, then I'll find out about these things.
Yeah.
I know people that give tours of Underground Central, the subway down there. Have you ever gone on those?
No.
Unbelievable. It's really quite incredible. But I love talking to you. That's how I'm finding out.
Also the subway at City Hall, if you stay on the 6 train, it goes through the old abandoned subway. And you could actually just do that on your own. I
could, but I never.
Stay on the subway on the 6 train. They'll say get off, but just stay on the loop around.
At Brooklyn Bridge?
At City Hall, yeah.
At City Hall.
Brooklyn Bridge, City Hall.
Yeah, Tim, that's a great little tip. We can ride the rails.
Just hold your camera up to the window. And put the light on it. But it's a great thing. It's like Christmas for preservationists.
I love it. That's so incredible. So how do you feel with the amount, I'll use the word gentrification, but I'll also use the word amount. We have a lot of foreign investment here now, and people that are not in their apartments, but buying them up. For New York to have the respect for its buildings, to landmark things, to get people involved, I think you have to have people that have a stake in the city. I feel a lot of the new people don't have a stake in the city. How do you think that will affect everything that you're trying to do?
Well, I agree. I mean, it's used as New York real estate is used as a piggy bank.
Right?
But I think, taxes are a way to go, like having a pied-à-terre tax, taxing it heavily if this is your second home.
I've been saying this for a long time, even with everything that sells for over $3 million, which is a ton of real estate. If they slapped a tax on there that went to even preservation of the kind of buildings we're talking about, why can't they do that? It would be nothing to the people that's buying it, but it would be everything to New York.
Yeah, and I think there are some buildings where people do have pride, in historic buildings, and that's why they're moving in there. It's not all just absent owners. There are some magnificent restorations of historic buildings, and people want to, I think, be part of New York, of the community. There's a great building that the city of New York sold. It was the old clock tower building.
I love the clock tower, of course.
Have you seen it? Since it's become, it's like, movie star housing, but it's gorgeous. And there are landmarks within the building, and those people, they're investing a lot in in New York, in that building, in Tribeca.
Well, that's what we want.
Yeah, so I have to believe that no matter how rich they are, they have good intentions. Yeah.
We're talking so much about these landmark buildings. Do you have your favorite buildings? Like mine is the Woolworth building.
Well,
because I know
one of my favorites is the Ansonia on the Upper West Side.
Yes. I love the Woolworth building though, because a lot of people don't know the plans for the nuclear bomb happened in the Woolworth building, but also down below they have an incredible Art Deco swimming pool. That's not
cool.
You've seen it.
I've never seen that.
I knew about it though.
And the detail in I did a co-hosting thing for the Travel Channel, which is how I found out about it. And once you get in those buildings and you start learning, on your script and everything, these details that you're talking about, I'm like, holy mother of God, this has all been going on here. Well, I've been living in New York and I never thought to check it out, but it's a stunning building.
Oh yeah, no, that's amazing. Also, of course, I love the Chrysler building.
Yes, okay.
And one of my boards is the Art Deco Society,
right?
And that's just magnificent. But also, there's so many great deco buildings in all 5 boroughs, and most recently, anyone can go in there. Have you been to the new Printemps department store at 1 Wall Street?
I haven't.
No, I haven't.
I have a friend, Kobe Cole, is working down there doing makeup.
What is that?
Printemps on 1 Wall Street.
Yeah, it's an old Ralph Walker Bank, and Printemps
repurposed.
They came in, and for the first time, it was sealed up for a long time, and they renovated the Red Room by Hildreth Mier, the artist and mosaicist who did both St. Bart's and Temple Emmanuel, with their gorgeous mosaics. But anyone could just walk in there. I think it's a shoe store now, shoe salon for Printemps right now, but it's wonderful. And then they've got their whole thing, but it's a great adaptive reuse. I hope I'm hoping they're doing well. I think they are, because there are lines outside the building just to go see it.
Repurpose. That's a good.
Yeah, repurpose. They're repurposing.
No, that's a good term because I much prefer taking an older building and repurposing it.
Yeah,
tearing it down and erecting a stale building.
Right.
They've done that in a lot of places, outside of New York, right? In Pittsburgh, the issue here is everything. It's big money here, right? And I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room now. Northwell Hospital and the hospitals. It seems like they're exploding in a million directions and buying up blocks and just doing whatever they want.
Yeah, and again, another red herring. They say healthcare. Well, is it? I don't want to say which is it, Lenox Hill or Northwell?
It's
one of them up there. But they're proposing, and actually was approved because they said healthcare. There's no healthcare purpose. They're just doing it so they can, raise their rates literally, so that everyone will have a private room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And they can bill the insurance companies even more now.
With the blood center.
Yes.
In the 60s, East 60. I don't want to misspeak.
No, it is in the East 60s.
Yeah, but the Friends of the Upper East Side, on whose board I serve.
Right.
Also, one of our big accomplishments was to, down zone mid blocks and up zone on the avenues, so that you don't have these corridors going on. But the blood center was able to override that with support from local politicians, again saying that we need it for healthcare. Well, no, they're just building rental facilities, not housing. They might be able to do that, but when they get their building done, they just want to rent it out for money. There's no health function. They're not even going to be operating it. So you've got these,
again, money makes people do the crazy things.
But also you say affordable housing, everyone says, oh yeah, we need that. Everyone wants cheaper rent. And you say healthcare, oh, everyone wants that, but you have to dig beneath the surface of these arguments.
I wonder though, again, we have an election coming up. Most people I'm informed more than a lot of people. Tim, definitely. And I'm misinformed. You've shared so much with us here today. How do we get, and you're on all of these organizations, Victorian Society, New York City Landmarks, Rose Hill Victorian, Art Deco Society. How can they get the word out? Or the Friends of the Upper East Side? Like, I'm getting mailing things of how to vote. But how do we do it on a bigger scale, I guess, is what I'm asking, to inform people.
Well, we are a network of organizations.
Yes.
So I would say get on the mailing list of all of them, specifically one in your neighborhood. So I would say, Tim, find the Inwood Neighbors or Washington Heights.
Yeah.
Just get on their join them if you've got $25, but you don't have to. Get on the mailing list and see what the issues are. And then there are also great fun events and walking tours. Last night I went to Joint Historic Districts Council Victorian Society talk about a late colleague's book about Queens, rural to country or rural to city, all about the history of Queens. And that was fun. It was great.
Right.
And then tonight I'm going to an event at the Salmagundi Club about
I love that place.
Zoe Anderson Norris, who was a journalist writing about the plight of poor immigrants in the early 19th century. So that's jointly sponsored by, I think, Village Preservation and the Victorian Society. So you'll be informed about what's going on with city issues, but also have fun and support good causes.
I love it. I think that's like such an incredible game plan. I love your commitment and what you're doing for New York. I absolutely do. And you're so knowledgeable with what you've shared here today.
Absolutely. And again, can you please, getting back to Tin Pan Alley.
Yeah. Let's go back to Tin Pan Alley.
Tell us a little bit more about like Tin Pan Alley, because that was the origin or the founder
the Great American Songbook.
The Great American Songbook.
So people say to me, why was 28th Street where all the sheet music publishers congregated? It was because that's in the late 19th century, that was the entertainment and cultural center of New York City. So you had Madison Square Garden on 26th and Madison, where Stanford White was in the head. You had Delmonico's restaurant. You had the Fifth Avenue Hotel, which was the most luxurious hotel in the world, which is now where Italy is. But they have just opened a new hotel in an old Stanford White building called the Fifth Avenue Hotel on 28th Street. It's gorgeous, and the restaurant fabulous if you can afford it, and save up. And so anyway, you had all of these theaters lining. None of them are there, but basically from the Flatiron Building up to Herald Square on 34th Street was lined with theaters, and they all needed music, and they all had performers, and you had music.
What a time in New York, Tim.
It was before the radio, before TV. The only game in town in venues, but also in living rooms and parlors across the world were these upright pianos, and they all needed sheet music. So it's congregated, and it was a very competitive business. It created the modern music, the popular music industry as well. So that's where it came from. So we're preserving that music, that history, and just go to tinpanalley.nyc. You can sign up for email updates. And actually, our most recent big update is we this summer launched an app on Bloomberg Connects. So you can go to, Wendy, you can scan this QR code.
Well, yes, I can scan the QR code.
Or anyone else can just go to our website, and there's a big banner that says download, our app, and you can learn about each of the 5 landmark buildings, the history, the sheet music publishers, the florists, the various stories that are there. And we're also working with Bloomberg and the Flatiron Nomad Partnership to hopefully put up a big mural on the side of a building on 28th Street that says, "Welcome to Tin Pan Alley, birthplace of American popular music." Because again, Tin Pan Alley is a known expression. The way Hollywood became synonymous with filmmaking, Tin Pan Alley became synonymous with popular music. But not that many people, present company accepted, know what it's referring to on 28th Street.
I also want to give a shout out. You mentioned the Bloomberg Connects app. which I'm very familiar with as a member of the Explorers Club. I give tours there, and it's history. And we're a landmark building. We're a non-for-profit, and you can actually take my tour. It's not nearly as good as the one I give, but you can take a tour by going through the app. It takes you through all 5 stories and tells you about all the artifacts and things. The Bloomberg Connects app is fabulous, and a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah, when did this come about?
Well, I think it started with actually a tour that Philippe de Montemello, the former president of the Met, gave to Mike Bloomberg, and Bloomberg said, everyone should be able to access it, and that got the wheels running. And now it's in over 1,000 museums and historic sites around the world. The
Louvre?
But often if you go into a museum, you'll see a QR code that says learn more, and maybe not know that it's a Bloomberg app.
Wow.
I know, it's so amazing, and it's free.
Oh yeah,
it's
totally.
Free.
So they provide most of the audio guides in places from the Louvre to the Stedelijk,
But these are such great ways to
and
source.
It's a wonderful service, completely free of charge. A great team. They're they produce materials for us, and
I love it.
We'll be working about placemaking with them hopefully soon.
Now, is there, because walking through New York City, we walk by buildings all the time, or a park or something that I just know has a history. Is there a resource that we could go to find out, like, oh, this building at this address, what's its history?
Yeah, well, you could always Google it, but another thing, a great partner is Urban Archive. They have an app with a map.
An app with a map.
And you go there and you'll see.
Urban Archive.
You can point out different. Yeah, you can activate alerts. So when you're walking around the city, you would hear a ping.
Love that. And they're like, you're here. You're like,
say, oh, do you know that you're walking by Teddy Roosevelt's birthplace? Or where?
Wow, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
These would be places I've walked by 100 times.
Right.
Yeah, and they also help feed the kiosks, the Link NYC kiosks that you see on the corner. So some of their material comes from the Historic Districts Council, the Museum of the City of New York, but also Urban Archive helps populate
those kiosks that they spent X amount of dollars to build.
Yeah. But they're not as bad as the new ones. The 32 story.
They just make no sense.
No, 32
foot.
5G towers, which are my friends at Carnegie Hill Neighbors and friends of the Upper East Side are up in arms again about, because they're building these monstrosities.
Like, why are you doing this? Why are you building these?
And it's going to be obsolete in 5 minutes,
right?
And is anyone going to bother to take down these totem poles?
That's a good point, right? What is going to happen to them at the end of the day? Yeah. Tim, I love that you brought up the East Village, because in particular, I discovered here there's 2 amazing cemeteries right around here. They're huge. Have you gone past them? I forgot the name. One is Marble Cemetery.
One is Marble, yeah.
I had no idea. It was like discovering an oasis, this enormous cemetery.
Wow.
And in this. And I worry because the lot is so huge that the cemetery's in, and it's so beautiful. But what would be in place to stop a developer from trying to build there? Because you look at something like that and you're like, oh.
Well, theoretically, the families of the people who are buried there, but I don't know if they could very well be private cemeteries, and they could very well be landmarks.
I think it is.
I think Greenwood is. I don't know if all of Greenwood.
I love Greenwood. Greenwood Cemetery is amazing.
And Woodlawn is certainly is a landmark, and they're on the National Register of Historic Places. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
You could be on the National Register for Historic Places for 100 years, and it means nothing. It's just an honorific. It does entitle you to some tax benefits if you qualify.
Right. If you qualify
for work to be done on your buildings. But I have a feeling that the ones we're talking about, is it 3rd Street?
It's around 3rd Street and around there.
It might be a landmark.
It would be landmark. Okay. And then on 4th Street, I'm taking a Halloween tour through, I forgot the name of the building, but a family had lived there.
Merchant's House?
Oh, of course you would know. So I signed up for the haunted Halloween tour, because I went there and I met this wonderful guy who takes care of the gardens, but he also knows the history. His
John.
Name course you would. Well, I totally love John. I love John, and I completely connected. And then I came back to Merchant House one day, and I got there too late to take a tour, but John let me stay, and he gave me the self-guided thing. But we all signed up on I think October 30th. We're taking the tour. It's a ghost tour. Right. But he shared with me, this is something I never thought about. Not only is that building under siege because of the building that's going on around it, when you go inside, there is a big sign talking about how the blasting around there has actually weakened Merchant House to where now Merchant House, its existence is threatened.
Yeah, if they get approval, it's actually at the Landmarks Commission now an appeal to build it. It's a 7-story building, but it is the sub basement digging that will jeopardize that building, but also other buildings all around the city. On the Meatpacking District on the corner of 14th and 9th, there was an incredible row of early 19th century buildings which came crumbling down because of destabilization of construction of a tower next door. But it happens all over the place.
Terrible.
On 5th Street, they're building a Robert A.M. Stern tower, and the digging destabilized the row houses. So I could go on and on. Gay Street,
that's another one I read about that.
People, want to have swimming pools, in their basement, and it's like, well, tough. Go to the Y.
No swimming pool for you.
Right.
Oh my goodness, George, this has just been absolutely fascinating.
We have so our wonderful friend Claudia just checked in.
Yes,
she's
but firstly, I'm not sure what the confusion was about Jordan. I don't know who Jordan is.
Well, that's off of here already anyway.
But we're sorry about that. But yes, our dear friend B. Claudia from Germany had a few comments that she had made, which I certainly enjoyed. So go ahead, Wendy.
Cameron, I don't know if you want to pop them up big for us, but the name to Monroe H. Rosenfeld goes back to Monroe H. Rosenfeld, as far as I know.
Who was writing for The World and interviewing Harry von Tilzer, a sheet music publisher.
He was a composer and a well-known journalist. And we love B. Claudia. I love museums. She's over in Germany. I just saw Gregory Crutzen opening here, photographer. You may know him. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Of course. She always adds so much to the conversation. Thank you.
And says that you are a very, very interesting guest.
Thank you, B.
Claudia in Germany. And then let me see.
I found. Tin Pan Alley, Soundtrack of America, historical documentary at Lucasfilm.
Oh, so you're probably familiar with that documentary, and that's got everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, and
so people can rent it.
So many great resources out there.
Wow.
And and it is funny because, of course, I have a Google alert for Tin Pan Alley, but the things that come in, it's like, of a Taylor Swift Tin Pan Alley singer. It's like, okay, I'll take it.
Now, our producer Cameron Cole says the reason Barracuda Lounge, which is in Chelsea, the reason the Barracuda Lounge closed was the tearing down of the two buildings next to and behind it was creating building issues. Right. And so that was what you were just saying. That's what happened.
Exactly. Cameron was working there, and that's exactly what happened. We knew a bunch of people that were closed. Well, it had to close for that reason.
Well, now let's see if anything ever gets built, or if we're going to have a vacant lot for the rest of our lives.
Big pit.
Now, we also had one more from Lila Gonez. Says, speak for all of us, I think, when I say we are disappointed that Jordan wasn't here, but we love the guest that you had.
Thank you.
So that's saying something that they enjoyed you.
Thank you, Letty. See, you never know. One of us know who Jordan is, but
we'd love to have him on as a guest.
Yeah. So if Jordan can get in touch with us, if Jordan's got something to say and an interesting platform that we can share, we'd love doing that. But if you're watching, we are so blessed to have George here with us today because you're an expert on all of this. Anything we threw, you had a million things to say about it. And you know what? I believe knowledge is power. You shared a lot of knowledge today.
Yes. And again, I just want to say, I can see your passion and your love for this. And I'm so grateful for that. thank you for sharing your passion with us today.
Thank you for letting me share it.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody who tuned in today.
And George Calderaro.
That's
George Calderaro.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. George
There
Calderaro.
we go. That was gorgeous. Okay. Okay. Oh, Vicki Patterson said, we got an answer. Jordan's a famous jazz singer.
That lives in New York.
New York. I don't know.
Thinks he's been on here before.
Yeah, I don't remember, but who knows?
You want me to sing?
Break it. Go right into it. Sing some Tin Pan Alley.
Tin Pan Alley. Oh, we're so bad. I just thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, we're very grateful.
So, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Have a wonderful rest of week and start working on your Halloween costumes.
Yes, enjoy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.